Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All those things we didn't get to during the course of the show today. I do watch a lot of TikTok, and there was this kid on TikTok. I had seen a story on TikTok of him saying, this 21-year-old kid, TikToker, got arrested. And half the time on TikTok anymore, it drives me nuts because they'll do a thing like a salacious headline, and it's like, so-and-so is in trouble and could face years in prison. Then you start digging into it and it's nothing, and it's these long, well-written things that keep you in it. You're waiting for the next chunk of information, but they're doing it just to boost the algorithm.
But you would think by now that you've learned your lesson, and yet you still keep falling victim to these things. I'm a
victim.
When I see see one of those pop up in my algorithm, I'm like, they're just trying to make me watch, so I don't.
Because one time it's going to be right.
Geez.
Just one time. But this kid, he is facing criminal charges. So the story was actually true because I found it in a reputable news source like ABC or Yahoo. I forget which. Oh, no, it was USA Today. So I guess he went too far, pranking multiple businesses over a 4-month period. So what he would do is he would walk in himself and send in other kids dressed as employees of a business. And then they would just wreak havoc, kind of thing, pretend they worked there and affect the business, okay? So then he got, He got 1 count of third-degree burglary, 2 counts of criminal impersonation, 5 of disorderly conduct, and 5 for criminal trespassing. So now he's facing actual consequences
and he's
for his
old?
actions. 21.
Oof.
Yeah, and so people may ask, well, how does he get away with that? Well, because we live in a world with no immediate consequences for your actions. And so he comes in, starts acting the fool. People come up to him like, you can't do this, you can't be here. So what happens? They can't touch him because the second they touch him, they're in trouble. They lose their job or they get sued, and he just runs amok and can do whatever he wants. So then they got to call the cops. He bails before the cops get there, and then there's all this problem, And so there's no immediate consequence. Back in the day, you acted up and you pushed the wrong buttons. There was an immediate and swift reaction because someone would knock you out. Like we used to do bits before, when I worked at a mainstream rock station, before there was all this video, we would do hidden audio. We had a hidden microphone. We'd send people out to do this, to get a reaction. In radio, they're called stunt guys or your stunt boy. So you send them out. I used to be a stunt boy in radio. That's how I kind of started. And then when I kind of climbed the ranks and got to stop, we would send out our other kids. So we had this one guy that worked for us, and we sent him to a Subway, and his job was to do something and to get a reaction. And he got a reaction because the guy working at Subway punched him in the face. Oh yeah. And he calls me. He's like, Wally. I'm like, what's up, fat kid? He's like, that was his name. That was what he went by. That was not me. That was his radio name. He made it up. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, Wally. He had a high little voice. I just got assaulted. I'm like, what happened? He's like, I did what you guys said to do, and he just punched me in the face. I'm like, well, okay, did you get it on audio?
Oh, my God.
That was my first question. And then I was like, are you okay? Are you good? He's like, I think so. I'm just a little shaken up. Well, I'm like, why don't you come back and we'll cut the audio up for the show tomorrow. And that was it.
Yeah,
because
where is this guy now?
He was still in radio. He was back in Atlanta. I mean, we were working in a top 8 market, so this was a big market.
But he's still in radio currently?
Yeah. He's doing his own thing now. And he was working with podcasts as well, like producing podcasts for people.
Bless his heart.
Super nice kid. I love this guy. And he would do anything that we asked him to do. That was what made him a great stunt guy. But yeah, and so to me, it was never like, oh, we're going to press charges on this Subway guy. No, we pushed the button. We got the reaction.
Yeah.
And that's on us. One time we had him save a whole buffet at a Golden Corral. He was guys are up there coming to the chicken. He would get in front of themselves. He'd get in front of them. He'd block them. He'd be like, I'm sorry, sir. Would you eat off someone else's plate at home? Well, I've saved this whole buffet for me.
Oh,
the guy's like, if I want some chicken, I'm going to get chicken, and I'm going to knock you out. And so he literally almost got beat up a bunch of times,
I could never.
Oh no, Gavin, you'd lose your mind.
No, I'd be be gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a tough way to make a living, trust me. Because again, I started doing this, and the amount of times that I was put in danger, or just you'd finish a bit where you got the reaction, and then you'd kind of feel guilty, if you have a soul, you'd kind of feel like, oh, that was kind of bad, And so that's what this guy's doing, but he's making money off of it at 21 because he's getting the clicks. So as I started thinking about this, I'm like, how do you actually make this kid go away, you know? And one possible thing, well, the thing you can't do is you can't get into a fight, you know? But the thing that you could try is not giving the reaction. Because when you're doing this kind of a content, the reaction is everything. When they get in his face, he's in his brain, he's like, this is great. Like when Fat Kid got hit, I'm like, this is great. You know, or anytime he got in trouble and police were called, I'm like, this is great. Because that's how radio people's minds work, you know, and that's something that I think Gavin and Betty to a degree don't understand.
I don't. Well,
because you didn't come up
here's
like
what
this.
I would say. You say that's how radio minds work, and you could be right, but it might be just for a certain genre of radio.
Yeah, like rock radio and like that kind of thing. Yeah, not top 40 or AC, you know.
A Christian,
yeah, no.
Yeah, country.
But like country has they used to have like stunt guys and stuff too, but not anything like rock stations. I mean, we were purposely pushing every boundary to get a reaction. And so to me, like, okay, one time at that same rock station in Atlanta, we did a segment with Finding Lost Loves. And it was for a new TV show that they were doing. And so we had the producers in, and they were going to find a lost love for one of us on the show. So they found like my first girlfriend, okay? And then my co-host was like, oh, we're going to call your wife. We're going to call your wife and put her on there. I'm like, it's going to be horrible. Like, he's like, oh, good, that's what we want. I said, no, it'll be bad because she won't care. Like, she's not going to give you the reaction that you're looking for. And he's like, no, it'd be great. So sure enough, like, we call my wife, and my wife, and they're like, yeah, we found Wally's first girlfriend. And she's like, oh, that's nice. I've heard she was nice. Like, gave no reaction. Then they're like, well, what if they went to coffee? She's like, that's fine. Like, so she just didn't give them what they wanted. Now, at home, I got an earful. But, like, she didn't
play the game.
Exactly. And, like, there's times when I say things to get a reaction out of Betty, and my worst day is when I don't get an eye roll or a reaction. It kills my soul. And so then it makes me have to go farther, you know?
Yes.
But, like, if you don't give the kid the reaction, like, put him to work, you know, and make the video so it's a waste of his time because he's like, well, I'm not going to get any views off of this.
Yeah.
You know, then you've diffused the whole situation. You literally just ignore him acting the fool, and you don't engage. Eventually, he's going to walk away.
Did you say his name at the beginning?
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't want to give him any love.
No,
I don't want to give him any love.
Oh.
But
Good
the funny thing is like there's a funny quote in the article I read. It's my favorite. Diligent police work connected the 21-year-old. Really? Diligent police work? You went to the store, you have video of him, and people file formal complaints, and you go to Instagram. Like or to TikTok. Diligent police work. Solve the case. Way to go, Matlock. But anyway, you solve the case, and I think if you don't give the reaction, maybe the situation goes away. Speaking of not getting a reaction, what, Lady Rock?
I see where you're going to go. You're going to
to Gavin.
Hand it over to Gavin. Can I just interrupt one little thing?
Yes.
On our Facebook group, because you got a little ranty there, but that's just you. That's how
me.
God made you.
That's what I do.
Just how you're wired.
Yeah.
So yesterday I put on our potty group, which if you're not a fan or if you're not a part of, you should be. It's on Facebook. If you text the word potty, PODDIE, to 91979, we will send you a link so you can join the potty group. But it's where we do behind the scenes things. But yesterday I posted, so I tried something out with today's Aftercast. I asked Wally to spend 1 minute ranting about something that he loves. Tune in for that. But also, should I keep this up or do you like more of the ranting Wally? A couple of comments. Jessica, she said, ranting Wally is my favorite.
Oh, thank you, Jessica.
Diane, love ranting
Thank
Wally.
you.
Katie, just the 1 minute only. Oh.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair because too much, like a little bit in doses.
Yeah. Jacqueline said, love Wally's rants, usually because I agree with them.
There you go.
We've got Laura who said, I love both. Mostly just love the passion behind them.
It's unbridled and usually uneducated passion.
Also, Arkram, which I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but he said, or she said, whether or not he realizes it, ranting like he does is actually a form of therapy.
It is.
Since he does it in the presence of a mental health
That's
professional.
you, Rock. You're an amateur mental health professional. Like I'm an amateur first responder.
It means he's going he's been going to therapy regularly.
Yeah.
So good or bad, let him get it off his chest so he can heal and not be triggered as easily.
There you go. That person is so smart because you're right. It is just like therapy. You're sitting there with a degree in counseling and psychology, and I'm telling you things that are bothering me. That is therapy. I've been going to therapy for 18 years. Ingenious. Thank you for the enabling. I appreciate it. You know what? That is the thing is, and I know I get ranty, but that's why people come to podcasts, because they're coming so that you'll say the thing that they won't say or can't say. And that's what makes podcasts different than like radio shows anymore, because radio shows have gotten ultimately conservative across the board, like in mainstream shows too, not just Christian shows. I mean, you expect it more so in Christian shows, but mainstream shows have gotten way more conservative because you get fired for opinions that you used to have that got you raises or got you hired by another company, and that's just not the case anymore. But podcasts are that last bastion. We talked about this actually in the show today, I think, about how that's where comedy and opinion flourish and thrive, you know? And so I love being able to rant a little bit on the podcast. It feels good, and it is helping me. So thank you guys. Heart hands. You guys are the best.
Therapy.
Yeah, and speaking of someone who might need therapy, there's a football player that got released from his team for doing something that it's weird, but it doesn't feel releasable. Gavin, you have this story because you're our sports guy.
I will explain also that there are other reasons as to why the
because I
player
only
was
heard the
released.
headline. I only heard the headline.
So Christian Wilkins, he was a defensive tackle for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he was again recently cut from his team. I'll start here. Last year, he signed a 4-year, $110 million
so he's
contract.
A good player. Okay.
Good player. Really good. I wanted him on my team when he was available. He had a signing bonus of $24 million.
Okay.
They converted $20 more million. So this guy has already received just nearly, I believe, what's the math here? $70+ million of his contract.
That's amazing.
So far in the first year. It's some creative way that they try to, get the guy's money and free up cap space. But recently, again, he was released because, and this is the headline, was that he, during a player meeting, kissed a fellow player on top of the head.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a very, I would never call that a normal thing to do, but not something you would hear someone do and go, oh, that's wrong.
Okay.
It's definitely nothing compared to what they typically do.
Yeah, they're all smacking each other on the high knee. Like, it's not like this one to me is not like anything like sexual.
Yeah.
Like this is, it's almost like, when you're in Europe, you kiss each other on the cheek.
Yeah.
Or in the Middle East, like it's not a thing. It's kind of like I don't see that as like weird or creepy. Now, if my boss did it to me after the throat punch, I'd be like, that crossed the line.
100%. They said that the teammate who we kissed the top of the head up took offense to it. The incident a complaint was filed to Human Resources and all this. So I guess I would say maybe in the future we'll hear more about what all would happen there. So I think there's more to that story than just a simple kiss on the head and be like, hey, I didn't care for that.
Yeah, that was
I'm gonna
weird.
go to HR now.
Yeah,
so there's got to be more to it in that.
You would expect players and football guys to like self-regulate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, dude, no. I'm not doing that again. Don't do that. And you take care of it in the locker room.
Coaches, and then you have a few layers before HR.
HR, man, HR, people that I understand you need HR because there are people that will really cross lines, and that's your only avenue. But sometimes HR makes working way more difficult. Now,
I think the primary reason that he was released was that in October of last year, partway through the season, he suffered a Jones fracture, which I think is just a bone that is connecting your toes to the rest of your foot.
Did slow him down.
The research, so that he was out for most of the year, or for the rest of the year because of that injury. He had a surgery, and it wasn't going well in rehab, and they wanted him to pursue another surgery to correct the situation. He didn't want to do that, and they said that because of how he was treating his rehab from the injury, they actually, due to the fact that they didn't like how he was handling the recovery process, they voided $35 million of his contract.
Wow.
Cut him, said goodbye, see you later. But I think that the way he handled rehab, because again, his body is his
Yeah, it's his property.
They are paying him
Right.
to play football for them, and if he's not doing what they think is best to get himself back on the football field that they paid him to be on,
Right.
then they have
But that
the
gets
ability.
murky because, like, that's your body, your health, another surgery, like rehab. Like, there has to be
It kind of is.
some kind of a balance
There does.
inside of that.
If they're paying you millions and millions of dollars, like they get a good say in how you in your recovery process.
I mean, like, if you take the women's rights for my body, my choice into account, like that, we use, or not we, but they use to, talk about, abortion and things like that. This is similar to that. Like, if you believe that, you have to believe in this is his body and his choice as to not put himself through it. Now, with that, are there consequences from that? Because he has the right to say, no, I don't want this. And then they have the right to say, well, you're not working out with what our plans are for football.
What you want to do is going to take longer to get to here. And again, it's an industry that I wholeheartedly believe that they would cut some corners to get their players back on the field. And that's why head stuff has been popping up a
all
lot
the
more over the last
concussion
20
stuff,
years.
man.
Like, it's a messy industry.
Because that's a thing, too. Like, human capital is what you are using.
Yeah.
And people's health will, like, it happened. That's why we got unions all those years ago, is because companies abused individuals for their profit and their gain. And then the unions got more powerful, and then it had to swing back a little bit. And we never sit in the middle, but that's a very similar thing in professional sports is, they get them out on the field, they juice them up, they get them to where they can play because there's millions of dollars on the line. I will say that most of the athletes, though, they want to be out on the field. They're the guys that are like, I don't care, stick me with a needle, numb it up, let me go.
Yeah, I love this game.
Yeah, there's an element of that to it, where it's kind of on them as well. But yeah, if you left to their own devices, companies are always going to choose profit over people. For the most part, corporations will. Speaking of people and people that we love and we would never take advantage of, it's our birthday people.
That's right.
Yeah.
We love them,
So
and we
good.
want to make sure that we honor them, and you're part of the team in essence. So who do we got for birthdays?
Well, we have no birthdays.
Oh,
Oh, well, that was a bummer. That
was
would have been
well
really
done, though.
great. Thank you.
Yeah, you can always send in a birthday when you text shout out to 91979. That's shout out to 91979. But we do have a question.
All right, let's go.
This one is from Alyssa. If you could create a robot to do any task or service, what would it be, and what would you name the robot?
Oh, wow.
This is really tough because I'm thinking in my head that I would love a robot that could vacuum my house.
They make those.
They literally do make those, but I want one that's not as inept as
mine's
is.
horrible.
I would love a literal robot that could see, okay, I'm going to get the carpet here, and then I'm going to come over here, I'm going to get this kitchen, because dog hair is just everywhere, and I don't like vacuuming. It's my least favorite chore.
I bought my wife one of those.
And a Roomba doesn't work.
Roomba vacuums, like a version of that. The Eufy, I think, and it had all these good ratings and stuff. It's the dumbest one ever. Like, it gets caught on cords, it gets stuck under things. It's just ridiculous. And then I literally just saw it in the pile of things to send to my daughter. Like, she has things at the house we're taking down to her, and I guess she's getting the robot vac because my wife is like, I'm done with this.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I I've been praying for you guys since Sasha.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now that you don't have a pet in the house,
Not as much hair.
do you feel the lack of hair?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Because like we vacuumed really good after, and you don't see it like catching around your the table legs and stuff like that. So
Does that hit a little bit every once in a while, or is it kind of like?
No, what hits me about
Okay.
Sasha is when I'll see something laying on the corner of the bed. When I walk into the room, I'm like, oh, it's Sasha. Oh, she's gone. Yeah. Or in the morning when I get up, I would used to leave the door cracked for her. As I walked into the bathroom, she would follow me in, or she would beat me in there, and then I don't have to do that now. And so, I remember on those days.
But you bring up a good point, Gavin, because I was going to say I would like to have a robot that would be a chef for me.
Yes.
Because I don't want to cook for one person. And I don't know what to
lot.
do. Like, go to the grocery store, pick up what you need.
Yeah.
I'll pay for it, and I just need you to cook it and make it for me. However, I would also have a hard time deciding between that or someone who would take both my boys, Rayford and Buford, and brush them. Like get all the excess hair off of them, because
That's a groomer.
yeah, but then like I need a robot at home to do it.
do the
I don't
one-
want to take them
Do
somewhere.
the mobile one that comes to your house and grooms.
That would kill me.
Why?
Well, Rayford, I don't want a stranger in my home that I don't know.
They don't come in. They have a van.
And two, I can't take the boys outside. They would kill me.
Oh, they'll pick them up. And they'll take them out there for you. They'll groom them, put them back. There's a lady that does like a groomer thing in my neighborhood. And like I would never do it because I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a cat. But if it's a thing you really hate, yeah, absolutely. And it's like you don't want to take them to the thing. You save so much money, Rock. Like you are very frugal. Like there are certain things you could spend money on that would make your life. But I talked to a friend of mine the other day that this one blew me away. Has a service that picks up dog poop in the backyard because she hates doing it that much.
That.
Yeah, there's some guy that's his job.
That's a terrible job.
That's a horrible
But
job.
it's like being perceptive of things the simple things that nobody should. Everyone would think, oh, like easy to do on your own, but like, a lot of people
don't like
just
it.
don't want to do it.
I bought a riding mower. I'm perfectly able and willing, or not willing, I'm able to mow my lawn with a push mower, but I was tired of it. I hated doing it. It made me not want to do it as much. So then I bought the riding mower, and now I don't complain a bit. Like my wife loves, I don't complain a bit. I just go mow it, And so there are certain things I think in your life that if it's that really hot button, who cares what someone says? Oh, you're so bougie or whatever. You do it. If it makes you a little happier, absolutely. I think I would get an automatic car. I can't trust Teslas and stuff yet.
We're a ways away.
I put my lane assist on the other day to show my wife how the lane assist works, and it will keep you in the lanes. But mine's like a pinball machine because it doesn't work as smoothly as the Tesla. So as you've got it on like cruise control and lane assist, you'll drift a little bit. It'll hit that lane, and then it doesn't just slightly correct you. It sends you to the other like side, and then you're basically going bing bong, bing bong, bing bong down the whole thing. And you have to keep your hands on the wheel. I would love to have a robot that drove for me. And I think my wife would be happier, and I would be happier. I was made to be a passenger princess.
I know.
I think I would. I really was. Like, that'd be great. Trips don't take at all the same amount of time when you're, like, in the passenger seat watching a movie or something. Like, that's fantastic. I would love a robot driver. I just can't trust the complete driving car yet. It's not there, in my opinion, so... with that, I think we got to end our Aftercast today. We got to go get Gavin in the new ministry pool that your donations have built. We're very excited about this. It's actually a $10 pool blow up from Amazon because we have to shoot a video for support drive coming up. And so let's go get that done. And as always, thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.